Hello again, it's Sunday, it's 5 p.m., it's time for a drawing. Okay. Excuse me, the paper here now is pretty weird looking texture. It's not the greatest. It looks a bit like it's been made out of, I don't know, horses or something. But, you know, it'll do it, and it'll hold a lot of water, which is the lack of that ability is something of a constant theme of most paper, getting all bubbly. The last thing you want is bubbly paper. Although, of course, bubbly paper was a fantastic cabaret artist in Weimar, Berlin, and God rest their soul. So, what are we going to draw this time? What the heck are we going to do? I've been doing some commissions and things, which has been very fun, posting those around the world. What should we draw? Something weird. Let's see. What about like a demon waiting for the bus? Sure. Hey, why not? Okay, let's see. Are we going to do pencil or are we going to go full crazy? Let's go full crazy. Let's have fun. Let's open up this ink and get crunk, by which I mean drawing. No. It's this guy we want. Old reliable, by which I mean not that reliable. Okay. So let's see. I want him to have a big old weird, like, demon nose or something. Like a kind of horrible Michael Jackson nose. Not to denigrate any demons watching. Like a bat nose, like the bat from Fern Gully, that I only just remembered the other day, was voiced by Robin Williams. R.I.P. Robin Williams. See, the thing is, at some point, I let this ink slightly dry out, so it's a bit galoopy. So I'm going to try and dip some water into the bottle, which doesn't work because that brush is too good. Excuse me. There we go, that might help. That might help us in our quest later. So let's get drawing. It's dangerously close to blobbing. And you know how much I can't stand that. Do these two little dots here. Like a proper snout. Oh, this is rough paper. Let's see. Looks a bit like an orc now. And as we all know, there are vital taxonomic differences between a demon and an orc. You know, any scientist watching will be able to tell you that. They'll be yelling that at the screen. They'll be saying, "You fool, you've drawn some kind of orc-demon hybrid that has hitherto not been proven to exist." I'm sure there is a Lord of the Rings forum with all sorts of debates on. I remember there was lots of debates about a weird looking skull. What kind of skull is this? Something's gone wrong. All sorts of debates about how orcs reproduced, because you never see any lady orcs. There is a small amount of consensus, I believe, in the Warhammer community that they are a fungus. Give him a decent bum chin. That's a bum chin. Why, a man could sit on that chin. It's got such a bum quality to it. Not following any anatomical rules, this guy. He's knackered, this demon. He's absolutely knackered. What knackers out a demon? You may well ask. You may well ask. And then we'll put the shoulders up really high so he looks really muscly and hunched and evil. Apologies to any hunched evil muscly monsters out there. Look at that posture. The old shoulder boulders. This is where my anatomy begins to let me down. There we go, let's just go for it. Go bloody mental, mate. Boink, boink. Let's give him one of those weird, like, bodybuilder bellies. Is it an innie or an outie? Only Satan knows, and he's not telling. Okay. Let's see. Spiky wristband, like he's in a mid-noughties, what are they called? Is that kind of like pop-punk revival? I don't care how much you don't want me to skateboard. Gonna have a house party in my unaccountably huge American mansion. I know houses are big in America, but the houses in those videos are insane. But then there'd be a song about how he was a big nerd. I don't know. I was never clear on the sort of social positioning of the characters in those songs. They were very unclear, in my opinion. It's another hay fever day here in London, bright and sunny, as I slowly draw a loincloth and a demon. And we're gonna have a skull. Why wouldn't you, for God's sake? Why the heck wouldn't you? He's dangerously close to flashing us all. What a sexy demon. There we go. Thumbs are on the inside, Pierre. You know this. Come on, buddy. Let's see. He's got a skull. And he's got a... What else? What else? Maybe like a kind of... sword thing. Come on. Yes. We want that to look right, don't we? So that's roughly going down. Yeah. Now one of the age-old questions in art. How do you make a sword look evil? There's lots of ways. I mean, in the ideal scenario, you've got, thousands of demons streaming out of it. But what if you don't have any demons in the house? Well, store-bought is fine, or you can make your own. This needs to be, like, insane. Horrible tentacle thing going on here. It doesn't seem very efficient, but, Demons, I don't think that they're that interested in anything beyond aesthetics. That's the part of hell that's never been clear to me. I mean, it's much clearer after trying to... I was about to say it's much clearer after reading Paradise Lost. What I mean is, it's much clearer after skimming some of the first bits of Paradise Lost. Excuse me one moment. The motivation of the demons to be demons, to, why bother, for heaven's sake. But I do recommend giving Paradise Lost a little read if you want some help with that, because it does a pretty good job of explaining it. And of course we have here another skull. It's important to coordinate your outfits, isn't it? There we are. I was pretty surprised, that skull. Probably never thought he'd end up on a sword. Pretty gnarly. Pretty gnarly stuff. Do people in California still say gnarly, or is that like a sort of self-consciously out-of-date surfer nonsense? I don't know. That's some just sort of general detail vibes. Dear, dear, dear. Yeah, he looks ready for work, I'd say. Down in, hell. Now we need just a normal... come on. What is with these nibs? I swear other nibs let me be a bit more free with this sort of thing. I don't remember having to take this much time over every stroke. big old lines. We love big lines. Sometimes when you do these nice big lines like this, it is very freeing. And it just allows you to suggest things as opposed to spelling them out for people. God damn it. Buttons there. Yes, okay. I suppose the big squishy weird paper I'm using means that it all does dry rather quickly. Okay. It's not bad for freehand, isn't it? Okay. There we are. And oh, there's a tiny hair in my ink. What a mystical problem. I never understood the wish on an eyelash thing. Never quite got that. Never quite understood why an eyelash falling off should be a particularly magical thing. But then I'm not a magician. I'm not a magician, and it's important to take these small mercies into account. When you are taking stock of your life, you can think to yourself, at least I don't have to sit and practice magic tricks. That is something I'm always thankful for. And something I think you should be thankful for too. Look, I'm not going to lie to you and pretend that I didn't used to try and do magic tricks when I was a kid. Of course I did. Of course I did. But, you know, these things have to stop at some point, don't they? Let's give the old lady some pearls. It's a bus stop. Remember from the start? Spoiler alert. When Pierre says at the start of the video that he's going to draw them at a bus stop, that means he's going to draw the word bus on the sign. Eagle-eyed viewers may have noticed. Oh, excuse me. God, with me sneezing, this is probably the opposite of fucking ASMR. This is probably people's personal hell. And, I don't know, send this video to your enemy then. If that's the case. Right. Now let's wash our pen. Get rid of, what is that, glue or something? Not very tidy. But I never have been very tidy with my art materials. It's not my vibe. Alright, now we're just going to leave this to dry and I'll be back in a second. Bye! Alright. seems dry. And so now we do the colour. And what is the guy here? What's he gonna say? What's the punchline of this ridiculous scenario gonna be? The tension. Oh. Maybe I'll do it like Dragon Ball Z and I'll just take 47 hours to resolve that tension. Maybe that's the future of this endeavour. Oh, I need to colour that in black as well. I'll do that later. Let's assume Pierre's going to remember. Let's be kind and assume he'll remember. Da, 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 da. It does hold the watercolour aggressively well, I would say. That's how I would describe it. Ooh, look at that line! Crisp. I mean, it wasn't, I don't know what. See, I boasted, and the gods punished me for my hubris. As well they should. Teach me a damn lesson. Okay. Right. Here I am making my demon a kind of crimson, but you can make your demon whatever color you want, okay? You don't see, if it was green you'd think it was an orc, let's be honest with ourselves. It needs to be red to be a kind of doom demon, doesn't it, really? Otherwise there'd be a comments war happening underneath this video. Like you wouldn't believe. Da. I never understood the loincloth thing. I suppose they had to give him loincloths to be like, look, we're drawing demons. It's going to be either for a religious figure as commissioned artwork or something involving like kids, like fantasy novels or whatever. So obviously we know the demons or the orcs should be hanging dong, right? We know they should be. They should be hanging full dong, and that would be a part of what makes them scary and satanic and blah 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 blah. But we're going to give them a loincloth because it's the closest thing we can approximate with visual metaphor to hanging dong without actually letting you guys in on seeing that. So dum-ti-tum. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Okay, demon boy. Looks, I realised, yeah, this is a bit sort of Hellboy coloured, isn't it? There's a bit of Hellboy going on here. I'm trying to remember the plot to Hellboy. He's like the Antichrist? Is that it? If he was the Antichrist, he looks, look, just in my opinion, way too much like the Antichrist. Hell really needs to work on subtlety of... I thought the whole point was that he was a great deceiver, not like, hey, it's that demon that looks exactly like every demon you've ever imagined. It looks like a demon, well, literally in this case, in a cartoon. If you do notice that it's bubbling like this when you're doing any kind of watercolour, you can, in extremis, Beavis, boil, my brain is melting. Iron, you can iron the damn drawing. It might seem extreme, but you absolutely can just iron the freaking thing. Save the eyes. I want those to be yellow. Alright, pretty demonic. There's no denying that. Now, let's let that all dry, because that's very damp indeed. Gotta really stain the brush here. I suppose the pink water means that everything's going to be a bit pink, but maybe that's okay in today's society. Maybe that's just fine. These guys are going to be pretty quick anyway. Da 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 dum dum. Old lady. I suppose she doesn't have to be old, but you know. Doesn't have to be old, but for that hairstyle, let's be stereotypical and assume she is old. It's interesting how when you try and represent things, like if I'd drawn her too like stylish or modern, you'd be like, was that supposed to be an old lady? We all want things to be not a stereotype visually, but then you sacrifice recognizability among a wider spread of the population, and that is the tightrope we walk. How stereotypical do we go in order to make sure people absolutely know what we're talking about, versus it's looks stupid or offensive or goes so far the other way it becomes gibberish, I suppose. Always a risk. Always a risk of gibberishing yourself. Oh, dot there. Nice, okay. And we've all seen this coat before on the old ladies. Big old tan coat. Ooh. I'm being very careful here. If anything, I'm being reckless. Reckless like a pig would be reckless if a pig could do mediocre watercolors. There we are. I'll just do it over the bag. Colour in the bag in a second. Where do old ladies get those giant beige coats from? It always feels like there must be somewhere that a central depot where, like, once you turn 70 as an old lady, they go, right, you're going to the fucking depot, and then they sort of go, okay, wait, this is where we kit you out with your old lady kit, your uniform from now on. Like you're like a bus driver. You need a vibe. It's a bit too dark, Pierre. We're losing detail. Can he fix it? Not quite. Not quite. Can't quite salvage it. That's okay. Right, now let's do some a brown loincloth to hide the stains of being a demon. I like how they always, the demons are always doing things that are sinful, right? So they're sort of almost inhabiting it. Like or this demon is full of rage and wants to murder you, and like the demons are like evil is my point here. So demons are evil, okay, fine, but they're never evil in the boring ways humans are evil. They're always like evil in a big, I guess, a flavoursome way, as opposed to like slothful, you know. There should be lots of lazy demons that just sit around and don't give to charity or something. Something like that. That's a bit more evil, isn't it? Than just like evil in the everyday sense. Like the stuff that gets us sent to hell, apparently, is what I mean. They never seem to inhabit the mundanity, the banality of evil. And then, of course, there's a question of whether or not they fight each other. Because they're all violent and whatever. So you'd think that some of them would try and be like fighting it out for the top spot, you know? Trying to give the old Big D a run for his money. But apparently they're all very much on board with team play. It's never made much sense to me. But what do I know? I'm no theologian. Maybe we could make the strap brown, if we can make a dark enough brown. There we go, it'll do it. I wonder if, like, a lot of nerdy young men's erotic awakenings are when they see all the sort of very booby fantasy ladies. There's a lot of very booby fantasy ladies out there. I wonder if it's the same for the ladies in like Conan the Barbarian or something. Could be. Could be. I suppose you never know. But then would they be disappointed forever because basically the only people who look like that are wrestlers, you know? They're just forever chasing a bodybuilder. Maybe that's what the 80s was about. A lot of pro-bodybuilding vibes from the 80s if you go back and look. Now let's get a slightly smaller brush. Ooh, and immediately make a mistake. Da da da. Just haven't quite done the old horns in the right place, you know. Something's gone a bit wrong with the old horns, but that's okay. It's all fine. We're not trying to be no one can prove that's not what the horns look like, crucially. I wanted this to be sort of purpley. Purple's quite a sort of sexy, evil colour. Let's see. Oh, it's the eyes. The eyes are going to be yellow, aren't they? How quickly we forget our plans in the excitement of colouring in an evil purple sword. Here we are. Get some brune going. Let's do a weird sort of aging bone fade. Oh, nice. There we go. A bit more water there. That's nice, that's a nice little fade there. For some reason that does seem more evil. So all these little tricks to make your evil drawing look as evil as possible. Very vague on the spikes there. Apologies to any Spikes fans out there who are hoping, they thought to themselves, you know what, I bet today Pierre's going to go real detailed on the spikes. And you know what, I failed you. I have failed you. Biddly doo, biddly bum. Oh, there's a damp on my wrist. Probably regret that later. Oh well. We're playing fast and loose with the rules here, people. Where's that phrase from? We are through the looking glass here, people. It's referenced in a lot of little cartoons and things. What's it from? Is it from Close Encounters of the Third Kind? Perhaps it is. I'll just have to Google it. I wonder if there's anywhere in the world where people say Google instead of Google. I doubt it. The hard G is very rarely messed with syntactically. I realized the other day, or I read, or I was pointed out to, whatever, blah blah blah. There's no use for the letter C in English. It's either an S sound or a K sound. The only time C does something that no other letter can is when it turns a CH into a ch. Yes. Something to bear in mind. Cut out the C's from your life. And that's not me avoiding swearing. Cut out all the toxic C's out of your life, yeah? Blue bus stop. What am I doing? Just making a mess here now. This is ridiculous. How dare you? Get out of my office. Bum, 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 bum. I think I want the demon to look more fiery, so we're gonna get some orange overlay. Let's see what this paper can hold. Seems like it can hold it. I wonder what demon music is. Rock and roll, maybe? Maybe rock and roll. In which case, we must ask the question, did humans invent rock and roll and it happens to sound like demon music? Or did demons invent rock and roll and they gave it to us somehow? Or demon music is rock and roll music, and humans also did invent rock and roll music, but that's just a coincidence. It's just like the demons themselves are like, wow, we can't believe it. You guys are coming out with some great stuff. There's a whole black market down here for imported records. It's like East Germany down there. They're all stretching blue jeans over their big demon legs and tapping their clawed hands. I love the Beatles. It's always amazing when you remember the Beatles qualifies as rock and roll. I think it's because I'm biased. I associate the Beatles with all the early do ba 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 do like dee lee lee, four guys on guitars kind of smiling with bowl haircuts kind of thing. I think I was exposed to sort of AC/DC stadium nonsense too early for me to take the Beatles seriously. As rock and roll, obviously I take them seriously like as lads, but as rock and roll dudes, it just seems silly. This is we've got a very damp demon on our hands, ladies and gentlemen. We really must try and help this boy out. Okay, color in his nose, which I forgot to do. Let's see, now, crucial moment of this quick little cartoon. Central worker. Oh, it's topical. He snuck in at the last minute there. You were all sitting there thinking, well, there's no way this can become tediously topical. But he found a way. He snuck in there and he made it about a thing that's happening in the world now. And it's going to be out of date, hopefully, as soon as possible. Okay, that's all. Very quick today. Fun little cartoon. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll do a little sign. Okay. Bye.